Hello YouTubers out there, this is Jerry at the Movies with your host, Jerry Saravia. So, as many of you know, I've been trying to cover almost all of the news regarding the possibility of a new Indiana Jones movie from the get-go. And on the 26th, July 26, 2012, which was actually yesterday, a few minutes ago, just passed, producer Frank Marshall, who helped produce all the Indiana Jones movies, stated that there is no future for an Indiana Jones 5. That although it's been the subject of internet rumor and speculation for a while, it may stay in that state forever. This is with an interview that Frank Marshall conducted with the website Collider. And he said, and I quote, "Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the last Indiana Jones movie, the fourth one in the series, was the last hurrah. There's no idea, there's no MacGuffin." George Lucas, shortly after the release of his last film, The Red Tails, which he helped to conceive of and worked on for a while, and which was kind of a box office disappointment, said he was retiring from Hollywood anyway. He was going to be making experimental films. And before that, he had stated, and I mentioned that on a previous episode of my show, that he couldn't think of a MacGuffin. He had a story, and he had the genre in place, but no MacGuffin. Now, if this is true, then Indiana Jones 5, it's done. But this is only according to Frank Marshall. And although, again, George Lucas may have retired from filmmaking in terms of Hollywood, it doesn't sound like he's going to stop making films altogether. So, the question remains, do I think this is still going to happen? So after listening, or rather reading about this, I have to say yes, this is going to happen. Because I don't believe him. I don't believe Frank Marshall. I want to hear an official statement from George Lucas and Harrison Ford and Steven-Spielberg that this is not going to happen. Harrison Ford said he'd be excited to do one. Steven-Spielberg, once again, according to Shia LaBeouf, cracked the story for a fifth Indiana Jones movie 2-3 years ago now. George Lucas had to find a time to work on this because he likes to develop the story and then someone else writes the script. That's how it works. So who do you believe? Do we disbelieve Shia LaBeouf? He said, after all, that Harrison Ford was in training, getting ready for this film. Which would happen any day now. There would be an announcement, and we hear now from the producer, Frank Marshall, that this is not a reality. So I'm gonna say wait to hear from George Lucas. And if he officially says this film is DOA, then we'll believe it. Until then, to me, this just adds more to the speculation. Because again, when you consider everything else that's been said since it was announced that there might be a new one, again, probably questionable. You have to take that in stride, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So, let's see what happens. TMZ found Harrison Ford in an airport, and he was bald. So, I don't know if this is for some other role or what, or who knows. We'll see what happens. But all I could say is when we hear officially from George Lucas, then let's not even rely on Frank Marshall. You know, you got to remember too, we live in the internet age, and nowadays speculation runs rampant, and you have to be careful of what it is that you put out there. These guys could be taking us along for a ride, and they're probably any day going to be working on a movie, or start working on it without anyone knowing, which is a possibility. Although it'd be hard to keep secret, but these guys like things top secret, so you know, we'll see. until we hear officially from George Lucas, I'm gonna say it's BS from Frank Marshall's mouth. So that's all I gotta say. Being an Indiana Jones fan, having learned how it is that they've done the other movies, the steps they took to making them, I'm gonna call BS on it, but we'll see. So until we hear official announcement from George Lucas and all parties involved, aside from the producer Frank Marshall, this is Jerry the Movies, signing off.